Hello everyone. Today I am going to teach you how to find force on a single charge due to multiple charges. So to find force on a charge due to multiple charges, we have to learn what is the principle of superposition. Okay. So according to this theorem, you can see here, this is superposition theorem. Okay. So according to this theorem, force of interaction between two given point charges remains unaffected when the other point charges are placed near them, and accordingly the total force on a given point charge due to any number of point charges is the vector sum of the individual forces exerted on the given point charge by all other point charges. Here, so this is the theorem, superposition theorem. So basically, according to superposition theorem, if we placed a multiple number of charges and if we want to find charge on a charge, if you find force on a charge due to all charges, then simply vectorically add all the forces for individual charges. So if there is a, let us consider there is a system of point charges Q1, Q2, Q3 ... Qn. That means here I am going to take n number of charges and place them here in a two-dimensional plane. So you can see here, this one is Q2 charge, this one is Qn charge, Q1 charge and Q3 charge. Okay, and I am considering R2 vector is a position vector of Q2 charge, R1 vector is the position vector of Q1 charge, and R3 vector is the position vector of Q3 charge, and this one is Qn charge, and Rn indicates position vector of Qn charge with respect to O origin. Clear? So here I am going to find force on Q1 charge due to all charges. So firstly I want to find force on Q1 charge due to Q2 charge. Clear? So if we apply Coulomb's law, then we know force on Q1 charge due to Q2 charge represent in this form, right? If 1, 2. This is indicate force exerted on Q1 charge due to Q2 charge. So if 1, 2 vector equals to, we know K into Q1 into Q2 by R12 square into R12 cap. R12 represent position vector of Q1 charge with respect to Q2 charge. Clear? And the direction of R12 always Q2 charge to Q1 charge. Always reference point to that charge whose position vector we want to find. Clear? So you can see here, this is the form of F12. Similarly, if we find F13, right? So F13 indicates force on Q3 charge, force on Q1 charge due to Q3 charge. So this one indicates force exerted on Q1 charge due to Q3 charge. So what is the formula? So according to Coulomb's law, K, again K, because all charges placed in a same medium. So K into Q1 into Q3 by R13 square into R13 cap. So R13 cap is the position vector. You can see here, this is the position vector of Q1 charge due to Q3 charge. Right? So the direction is along this side. That means Q3 to Q1. This is the direction of R13. R13 is the position vector of Q1 charge with respect to Q3 charge. Clear? So similarly, F1N. F1N indicate force on Q1 charge due to Qn charge. Clear? Force exerted on Q1 charge due to Qn charge. So you can see here again the proportional constant K. So K into Q1 into Qn by R1n square into R1n cap. So R1n cap indicate unit vector of position vector of Q1 charge with respect to Qn charge. So the direction is along this side. Always reference point to that point. Clear? So from superposition theorem, add all forces vectorically. So if here F1 represent force exerted on Q1 charge due to all charges, total force, or we can say net force on Q1 charge due to n number of charges. Clear? So F1 vector is the vector sum of F12 vector, F13 vector plus F1n vector. F1n vector. So K into Q1 common in all the terms. So Q2 by R12 square into R12 cap plus Q3 by R13 square into R13 cap plus Qn by R1n square into R1n cap. So we know if we add, or for discrete charge summation, we can use summation, right? Or for continuous charge distribution, we use integration. So here charges are discrete, right? This is not a continuous charge distribution. This is discrete charge distribution. So that's why I am taking summation. So K into Q1 into summation of I equals to 2 to n. You can see here I just increases, right? And starting from 2. So Qi by R1i square into R1i cap. Clear? So this is the form of, this is indicate, or this is the formula of force exerted on a charge due to multiple number of charges. You need to remember one thing here. We are considering force on Q1 charge due to Q2 charge. Force on Q1 charge due to Q2 charge does not affect it by the presence of other charges. Clear? This is a numerical, so I want to give you this one as a homework. So please do yourself. So now next topic is force on a point charge due to continuous charge distribution. So for continuous, basically continuous charge distribution classified in three parts: linear charge distribution, surface charge distribution and volume charge distribution. First I am going to teach you linear charge distribution. So, a continuous charge distribution is a system of charges lying at infinitesimally small distance from each other. Okay? So, the distance between two charges is very, very small for continuous charge distribution. So, first I am going to teach you linear charge distribution. Clear? So, this is a wire which is linearly charged. That means charge distributed along length. Okay. So here you can see for this charged wire I am going to find what is the value of force at point P which is r distance from this wire. So first of all we will consider this wire is a sum of infinitesimally small length, that means ds. We can consider this one is the sum of ds. Large number of, that means we can divide this wire in dl, so many numbers of dl length. dl is a very, very small length. So first I am going to find force at P point due to dl length, and here I am consider this dl length contain dq amount of charge. Suppose this dl length contain dq amount of charge, and the distance between dl length and point P is suppose r, and r cap indicate unit position vector of P point from this length, and df vector is indicate force on P point on q naught charge due to dl length. Clear? So df vector indicates force on q naught charge which is placed at point P due to dl length or due to dq amount of charge. So you can see here, let us consider AB is a conductor. Okay, so this one is the conductor, and here we consider the charge distributed along length. And linear charge density, we have to consider another thing. Linear charge density of this conductor is suppose lambda. That means lambda is the charge per unit length. Clear? So linear charge density or charge per unit length of this conductor is suppose lambda. So lambda equals to, we can write dq by dl, right? Because dl length contains dq amount of charge. So unit length contains dq by dl amount of charge, and that is lambda. Okay, so here SI unit of lambda is coulomb per meter, because unit of charge is coulomb and unit of length is meter. So SI unit of lambda is coulomb per meter. Clear? Here L is the total length of the conductor and dl is the infinitesimally small length, and dq charge on dl length of this conductor. Clear? So now from this equation dq equals to lambda into dl. So force on q naught charge which is placed at point P, you can see here, which is placed at point P due to dq amount of charge is suppose df. So df equals to k into q naught into dq by r square into r cap. This is coming from Coulomb's law. So k equals to q into lambda into dl by r square into r cap, where r cap is the unit vector of position vector or position vector of q naught with respect to dq, right? So r vector is the unit vector of position vector of q naught with respect to dq. That's why the direction is along this side. That means from reference point to that point. So if we integrate this term, that means if we integrate df vector, then we get total force exerted on q naught charge due to entire length of this conductor. So F vector indicates charge on q naught charge due to entire length of the conductor. So for continuous charge distribution, we can use integration, right? So integration k into q naught lambda into dl by r square into r cap. K into q naught constant, so it comes out from this integration. So integration of, that means this one is indicate integral for line integral. Okay, so integration of L is indicate line integral. Okay, so a line integral lambda r square into r cap into dl. So this is the form of force at a point which is placed r distance from a conductor. So F is the force on q naught charge for entire length of the conductor. Now second one is surface charge distribution. So you can see here I am taking a surface of a conductor and here I am going to find force on q naught charge which is placed at distance from this surface area. Clear? So r vector is the position vector of q naught with respect to ds area. Here I am taking a very that means infinitesimally small area on this surface area. ds is the infinitesimally small area on this surface, and I am also considering here dq, this ds elementary area contain dq amount of charge. Clear? So what is the value of force on q naught charge due to dq amount of charge? Clear? So here df represent, that means this one, df represent force on q naught charge which is placed at P point due to dq amount of charge. So from Coulomb's law, okay, here I am considering another thing which is sigma. Sigma represent surface charge density. Okay, that means charge per unit surface. So we can write sigma equals to dq by ds. Clear? And SI unit of sigma is Coulomb per meter square. Coulomb per meter square. So from this equation you can see dq equals to sigma into ds. So given charge q naught placed at P. So now from Coulomb's law we can write df vector equals to k into q naught into dq by r square into r cap. Right? Where dq is charge on a small element of surface area ds. Clear? So just replace dq by sigma into ds. So now we get k into q naught into sigma into ds by r square into r cap. So here r vector is the position vector of q naught with respect to dq amount of charge. So total force exerted on q naught charge due to entire surface of this conductor, or we can say for a surface. Clear? So F vector equals to k into q naught into surface integral of sigma by r square r cap into ds. So where F vector is the force exerted on q naught charge due to entire surface of the conductor. Clear? Now third topic is volume charge distribution. So if charge distributed entire the volume, then what is the value of force on q naught charge, due to entire volume of this conductor. Clear? So here you can see I am taking a infinitesimally small area dv, and this dv area contains dq amount of charge. So first I am going to find force exerted on q naught charge due to dq amount of charge, and this one is indicated by df vector. So df vector is force exerted on q naught charge due to dq amount of charge. Clear? Here I am also considering volume charge density. Suppose volume charge density of this volume or of this conductor is suppose rho. So rho indicate volume charge density of this conductor. Clear? So we can write rho equals to, so here we can write rho equals to dq by dv, right? So dq equals to rho into dv. So now dq amount of charge, so force on q naught charge due to dv, that is df vector equals to k into q naught into dq by r square into r cap. Just replace dq by rho into dv. Just replace dq by rho into dv. Now we get df vector equals to k into q naught into rho dv by r square into r cap. What is the SI unit of rho? SI unit of rho equals to coulomb, that means unit of charge, by unit of volume, that means meter cube. Okay. So if we integrate df, then we get force exerted on q naught charge due to entire volume of the conductor. Clear? So F vector equals to integration of df vector, and here k into q naught is constant. So volume integral of rho by r square into r cap into dv. So this one is called volume integral. Okay, another thing here, if dq is negative charge, then df vector equals to what? K into q naught into minus dq by r square into minus r cap, right? So because here force is attractive, so if dq is negative charge, then the nature of this force is attractive, right? And attractive force and position vector always in opposite direction. Okay, so that's why this negative sign arises here, and minus will be get positive. So now the value will be same. So that means force does not depend on positive or negative charge. That means formula of Coulomb force does not depend on positive or negative charge. Okay. So here one numerical, calculate the Coulomb force between two alpha particles separated by a distance 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So, alpha particles means helium ions. Okay, so alpha particle equals to helium ions, He 2 plus ion. Clear? So that means charge of one alpha particle equals to what? 2 plus, that means 2 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Right? So Q1 equals to Q1 means charge of alpha particles. Q1 indicates charge of alpha, and both are alpha particles. So Q1 equals to Q2 equals to 2 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So distance between two alpha particles, that is R equals to, this is given, 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So force between two alpha particles, obviously this force is repulsive in nature because both are same charges. So F equals to K into Q1 Q2 by R square. So the value of K is 9 into 10 to the power 9 into 3.2 into 10 to the power 19 by 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 15. So then we get 90 Newton.